Hello everyone, welcome back to another addition to the Safe House rating blah blah blah. And today we're going over the Dead Center 2 campaign and the safe house is there. And like last time, we're going to go through the same three things, which is comfort, safety, and long-term survival. So let's start off in this room, and we already have a lot of CETA sort of information things. And the thing I was really excited about here is the water machine that seemingly has water in it, as you can't move it around. So that's a huge plus. But the other problem is the lack of any food inside of the vending machines. That's going to be an issue. And we don't know about the other vending machine, but you know, we also have a barricaded metal door blocking the back. There is still a fire going on, but hopefully the metal door can hold it off. We have some sleeping bags, we have luggage, and we also have some chairs around. This is overall a very nice starting place. We also have a lot of nice carpet floor, which is better than hardwood and better than the top of a roof. Another thing I did find that might be kind of annoying is the flashing fire lights. And yeah, I was talking about his buddy Keith here. But it's nice to actually have a door that the infected can't break through. And you do have a lot of kind of luxuries in this first one. Sleeping bags, chairs, and just water out there. And also the medical transport timetable. So the scavenging in this campaign could be really, really good. And then we also have these little books, I think, that are like dictionaries. I'm not really sure what it's supposed to say. I can't really read it, but I'm sure it's not too important. But yeah, the big takeaways here are the medkits and not medkits, excuse me. I guess the luxuries we have in here and the water. The only real issue in this starting location is the lack of food. Maybe there's a little bit inside of the suitcases, but we can't really depend on that. And also outside we have a little bit of a barricade set up on both sides, but zombies can get over that pretty easily without any sort of deterrent. We have a CETA truck here, which might have medical supplies in it, which is always good, but there seems to be a lot of corpses and what I can assume to be medical waste just kind of lying around. The real joy I found in this one was the amount of fuel around. There's propane, there's helium, there's just gas, and there's also a lot of cars that seem to be functional. Not in the terms of like you can drive around in the game, but there's a lot of cars. You also have here a bunch of porta potties too. Now they're not installed, but if you can install them, it's not a bad idea. There's not a lot of dirt here that you can dig up, but there is some garden areas, so you could do the patches of dirt, or you can start growing food there if you find any seeds for it. There is a lot of space here, but the amount of time and energy you would have to do to convert this into a safe place isn't really worth what you would get out of it. It's just a road with a hedge. Over here there are some trees you can chop down, but I find that it might be kind of dangerous to jump over that high of a wall without knowing what's on the other side. And there is also a sheriff place here, sheriff car, and that's good for ammo. There's might be guns in the back, and there might also be radios that we can contact authorities with. There is also more medical trash here, which might not be great for your long-term health. And here's a charger. There is also a box truck here, which would be very good for like long distance scavenging, so you can get all sorts of goodies. And more trees, more foliage, lots of infected too. And that's the thing about this one. There is helium here. I blew it up because I didn't know what it was at the time. And I feel like it's worth mentioning that I feel like you would have to be pretty well armed and also know your way around a gun, because there's not a lot of leeway on this certain stage. We get introduced to the tank and the witch on this stage, and we don't really have that high tier of weapons. We're still just on the shotgun, or the little pump shotgun. It's not very good. Here I'm doing a double back just to kind of see what I'm working with here, and we also have a lot more plants to chop down, maybe, I don't know, for fires or anything that we could use to elongate our survival. I tried here to see if it could survive a horde, but you know, AI teammates suck, and Rochelle got charged here. But it does seem pretty sturdy, and through my expert attempts, I know that really the only thing that can get through those doors is spit. And I feel like if you just barricaded it with, I don't know, plywood or some metal, you'll be fine. We also have these little tarps which we could use to make rainwater collectors. The problem here is there's a lot of corpses, which may start spreading the infection. Now, this is interesting here. It might be a little fire, like sprinkler system starting thing, so we could try and stop that from reaching our safe house. There is also these movable gates here, with some barbed wire on top. You can see I double back here to make sure they're not bolted in the ground. But I feel like with a team of 4 people, you can easily move these around. Even if it's just you, I feel like with enough time, you can move it around too. Now, in this first area, there isn't really a whole lot to be excited for besides the amount of trees and the gas. But as we get further in, we will start seeing some more interesting things. And I do say that there is a lot of sheriff cars here, so that'll be good for any ammo and maybe some weapons. And there's also some fire extinguishers here, and I'm not sure if they continue to work after the water is shut off, but if it is, hey, that's great. You can see here I'm looking at the Whitaker sign, and we get the tank growl sign, and there's more of these gates, but these seem to be put up in a pretty good position besides the fact that the infected can walk through. And I'm going back here. I can to get the gas can. Yeah, I forgot why. But we're going over here, and that is like a generator light thing to my left. And I feel like with some knowledge of how a generator works, with some knowledge of how electronics work, sorry about that, you could use it to build something new, build something different, and maybe bring power to your little safe house. Yeah, right here I get mad because they kept shooting me. There's also a lot of like dumpsters that got kind of pushed on the door that you can't really move them by yourself. You can try, of course. And I always thought this was kind of funny here. I got the hunter through the wall, and he's just kind of looking around, and then he jumps out when he gets attacked. But another sheriff car at the bottom here. And I feel like we can use these to help arm us on the kind of insane amount of things they throw at you so quick. Another fire axe here we can use to chop down wood. And as we progress further down here, you'll see the tank is right there. And I almost missed the gas can a bunch. You'll see here, I get it right there. I run out, we get the tank. The only problem is Coach gets pretty messed up by this guy. But we do get the tank down. Now, by yourself, a tank isn't good. It's also very close to the safe house. And while in game, the safe house doors are tank proof, I don't feel like in real life those doors could withstand that big of monster, I guess. More propane here though. If we do get a grill from the mall, as we're going to right now, or if we do get a grill from just around, we can use that, which would be nice. Or I feel like that's how you use the welding kits too. So if you want to start welding, we can use that too. Here is a little pickup truck that I found, and all these cars seem to be decent enough condition besides that one. And I feel like with the fuel we have, and maybe we can try to learn how to hotwire a car. You see here I try to do that, blow up the thing, but there wasn't any explosion. And we have again another cop car, and you see here I'm not being very clever, but you know, it's like usual. And we also have another porta potty and some gates that are cemented into the floors. We can't really move that. There's another box truck here. And the problem with cars in this general area is there's a lot of stuff that's blocked off that we can't really get to. And I'm going to go down here in a second because of that charger. But we also have this little landfill box. Nothing really useful in there. And, oh yeah, I'll just let you guys watch this. I don't know what I was thinking. Oh man, yeah, that was rough. Didn't get down though. And again, we have another sort of makeshift barricade with that bus, and there is a lot of little bushes and trees here that we can use to our advantage. There's some gates, there's tires, but really not a lot that is easy to maneuver around. More propane. Another one of those little fire shut-off switch things here. There's pills here. Oh, hey, pills here. There is also a few pipe bombs just kind of laying around. which I find interesting. But, you know, we can use them to our advantage. Don't really see how they can be used to help us live longer, but at the end we'll do some theory crafting and see what we can do here, and I'll pull up some images of what I've seen through here that we can use to help. And you see here, Coach gets me killed here. I guess that's payback for letting me get destroyed by that tank, but yeah. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it. I do hold a grudge here for a bit, but I don't do any damage, so it's fine. And then I pulled out a medical thing, which makes Nick not heal me. But I continue to progress through, and there are some a little electrical things, but again, we can't really use them. There is still power, though. I don't know if it's like emergency lighting or stuff like that, but we can't use that. For some reason, yeah, and then I hit Coach a bunch. There are little steel pipes in the back. I don't know if those are wires or pipes. I think they're wires, but it's fine. Then we have our second kind of safe house in this campaign. We could theoretically barricade the doors here on this one. We just don't have the materials to make. Oh my god, this is terrible. Look at this. And then I didn't even get the kill. Nick got the kill. But it's fine. And then right here is where it gets kind of difficult to maneuver. We have to drop down on this truck and then on to the porta potty, but I didn't, I don't think. God, I suck with the sniper. That's why I went back to get the shotgun. In order to get up and down here, we're going to need a ladder or a staircase or something, because it's not going to be very useful. You can see here I look at it around. And another seat of truck here. So hopefully we can get some more things. But yeah, all of the tunnels and roads seem to be pretty blocked off. So any sort of large vehicles that aren't like fitted to deal with that aren't going to really help. Another sheriff car. Lots of corpses. And I don't know what happened there. I don't know why I just took it. Some signs, but really a lot of the good stuff here is that there is possibility of some long-term survival options here. Our main drawback being food, but we will make do what we can do. We continue to progress up through here, and once I get to the Wicker's gun shop, I'll continue reviewing. But this is where this gets kind of tricky to rate. There is a somewhat demented man who has taken over his gun store and turned it into his own little safe house here. And this is really what we want to do. And having him in the area definitely contributes to how much we can expand. And there might just be a bit of conflict between us. But hopefully we can come together and, hey, maybe we'll survive together. Now, this is his property. If we do kill him or make a deal with him, which we do in this to get him more soda, which is the very last thing in the supermarket. There's literally nothing else there. There is some water jugs down there, but I'm pretty sure they're empty. There is just a ton of guns here, though. You can see I'm trying to shoot the glass here. That's always great. And if you want to practice your aiming. So let me get to the next sort of section that we can use. Now, there are a lot of boarded off windows and doors on that section. If you're infected, you can break it open. We also get to this little supermarket, the Save for Less. Now, primarily I was thinking that this would be your main source of food for about a month or so. But as we can see, it's starting to look pretty rough. As we go in here, I didn't even really notice it at first, but there isn't anything on these shelves. Literally nothing. I even double backed, you'll see later in the video, to see if there was something. There is nothing here besides a single little 6-pack of cola. So that's gonna be pretty detrimental to the long-term survival. There are some carts for moving things around without having to use a car. But even if we get a car, there's no real point because everything is really compact here. And I feel like our neighbor is just gonna kind of hoard all of the food and water from the supermarket, which is great. Might have to kill him if we want to live longer. Thanks, Whitaker. You can see the amount of fortification Whitaker put in this little place here. that's really what we're looking for. If one guy can do it, then we can definitely try. There's some random pills here. I wouldn't really take them. We do get this little outlet part, which we can. There is a lot of medical trash around, but there are some little medical tents set up that have some very basic medical stuff on them. How many times did I say medical? Goodness. You can stand on these two to kill the incoming infected, if you didn't know. But of course, we can turn those inside out and make a little water collector. Another thing about this sort of campaign here is it's very fortified. As we go through it, the only real reason the infected to get in is because of the game's spawning system. You can see here there is a lot of medical trash, and after you deal with all the zombies, you're gonna have so many corpses to deal with. You can see here I find some frag rounds, which are nice, but kind of I don't feel like that would be very good for your weapon long term. But maybe we can trade those to Whitaker for some food. And you can see here the witch is right there. I say no. Coach almost gets himself killed again. And we end off that one right there. Bink. So let's get on to my rating system and we'll talk about what we saw here. Alright, we're back to my very advanced safe house voting system. So we're going to talk about the safety. And I feel pretty safe. The only problem with that first section being the sort of burning building that we are connected to. Even if it doesn't reach all the way, I still feel kind of worried about the smoke seeping in and kind of smoking us out. We have the little metal doors, we have a divider we can hide behind. It's all just a really good deal. So we're going to give this a pretty high safety rating. We're going to give it a 8.5 in terms of safety. And before I forget, I should mention how the voting here works. Safety is 1 to 10, comfort is 1 to 10, and long-term survival is 1 to 20. So this is where the real points are made. In terms of comfort, this is probably one of the best safe houses there is for that. We have a little divider to keep us sort of away from that door that is where the infected come from. We have 2 sleeping bags, we have a table, 2 couches, we even have a water just that's inside of there, a little water dispenser, which is great to have. The only real takeaway I have from this in terms of comfort is the amount of corpses around, which I feel like would start smelling pretty bad pretty quick. But this is a near perfect score. We're going to give this one a 9. In terms of long-term survival, the only issue we have on this one is food. We have a bit of water. We already have the soda machine that might have some stuff. We have some luggage. We have the fire hydrants that we could try and crack open. The only real issue we have for long-term survival is the food. We can grow our own food, but the main problem I have with that is we don't have any seeds. And maybe we can trade Whitaker for seeds with that frag rounds I found at the very end, if we don't just end up killing him. And that's another problem with the long-term survival. We do have a neighbor, which is pretty rare. I think it's one of the only campaigns where we have a neighbor, which might make it more difficult. The entire campaign is already very well barricaded, so we can always use that to our advantage. But the main takeaways are that food is an issue and the neighbor may be an issue. So this one's going to get a very nice long-term survival score. The only issue, again, being food and our neighbor. So we're going to give it a 16. We're going to go for these nice numbers. I'm going to divvy it up, finish the total, and see if I want to kind of mess with things, and then we'll finalize what we got here. Alright, so here is the final scores I did, and I also went ahead and gave us some kind of more info, the survival rate, which is just a percentage of what the total is. And I feel like it helps sort of see what it is more. And we can already see here the difference in just 2 safe houses. We have a passing grade and a non-passing grade, if you want to put it like that. It is overall a pretty decent safe house. It's very comfortable, it feels secure, and we can do some stuff for the long-term survival that doesn't just result in the whole building collapsing on us. So it's actually pretty good. I'm going to show some images here that I feel like really help visualize why I gave it the rating I gave it. Of course, we have the doors, we have the sleeping bags, we just have the general layout of the room, if I can get a picture of that even. And overall, it is a very nice safe. And we're going to finish up here. I have to edit a ton because I keep messing up my lines, which is always fun. But that's what we're looking at here. Very good safe house. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and say hi in the comments. I always try to reply. And thanks for watching.